Yo, what up? Yo, yo, yo. What's up? Rhode Island, atheist, Easy J. What up, dude? What's up? I hope it's not a black screen. Is black screen for everyone else? Is it? Not on my end. What's up, dudes? GR, what up? Gonna be chilling it out, man. Chilling it out today. Stankster, what up, dude? Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Alright. Let's see. Alright. Yo. Alright, we're gonna be talking about a couple of things today. You wanna let some people come in and join up, but I've got some stuff, man, that I wanna bring to you guys' attention. For sure. Happy Sunday, man. Hope you guys are all doing great. What up, man? Wesley, how you doing, man? Francisco, what up? I'm excited. You guys excited for earnings next week? Pretty stoked for that, man. Tuesday after hours. Yo, Mikey, what's up? I'm ready to rock it, man. Hell yeah. Well, see, I'm ready to rock this week for sure. Yes, sir. ZY Vlogs, what's up? All right. Alrighty. Speaking, get started. Yeah, you guys go right ahead, ask away. I am going to be talking about this blue pattern setup. Nana, how you doing? David, what is up? Yeah, it does seem like the tables are finally turning for meme stocks for sure. There's a lot of them. Okay, so there's a couple of you. I'm gonna repeat myself a couple of times. Okay, guys, just bear with me. We're gonna talk about this. Okay, this pattern right here. It's the blue pattern. I'm gonna clone this guy. And we're gonna bring him over here. I'm on the 30-minute right now, but okay, so this blue pattern that played out back here does look a little funky, but there's a reason for that. There's a reason behind the funkiness, the way it looks. Okay, so it actually tracked. If you guys are aware of the regression trend that we're tracking right now, we're on this regression trend. I'll pull it up here in a little bit. But basically, we're tracking this whole section back here, inverse, not vertical though. Like most blue patterns that play out will be inverse on the y-axis, right? So you flip it vertically. This one is actually flipped. So this one actually messes with the dates. Okay, so if we take this pattern. And I'm gonna clone this guy as well. This is the blue pattern that just played out. So if we flip it, okay, it's the same blue pattern as what is happening back here. Okay, you see that? And that is because we're currently tracking that June, June following cycle going into August back here. This whole thing that's happening. And I'm going to show you guys because it gets pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go here on the 2 hour. And we're going to pull up the regression trend. So, you know, we're in this guy right here. Okay. So we know that. And then this is something that I made earlier today. So it's a little, it's basically a version of the last regression trend that I made. Just basically ignoring these sections here for a minute. But we are doing this pattern back here, this cycle pattern, just mirrored to the downside. Okay. So I'm going to clone this guy again, and we're going to bring him down. Change the height here so you guys can see exactly how this looks. And this is where we're at right now. I don't know if you guys can see that pretty clearly, but it's actually better if I just take this entire pattern here and just bring it up here like that. So you guys can see a little bit better how it fits, right? Things are playing out this way, man. They really are. But this section here is what I'm looking at, because I think that that we're gonna be playing out this portion right here inverse because of earnings, which has me pretty bullish, man, for the next couple days. It has played out inverse back here, and then here it played out identical. So it seems to be doing like a one on, one off kind of deal. And I just don't see the downside coming from this setup here. Remember, the shorts go long, and then they have to cover vice versa, right? If you go short, you have to cover in the future with option expiration dates. So this has everything to do with that, man. And I was just doing a little bit of research on that, and I was like, bro, I need to make a video on this. I tried making one earlier, and then I was like, dude, I'm just going to go live. I'm going to go live and do it. Be better that way. But yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. Do I expect a red day tomorrow coming from Rhode Island? Do I expect a red day? There's a possibility. If you guys remember this, I'm going to pull up the other chart here. I'm going to have so many charts, okay, that I've been working on. So let's pull up. I think it's this one. Ignore all this. It's just work. Okay, where is it? I hope I didn't delete it. Okay, let's go on the 4 hour. We have a smaller regression trend right here, and I want to talk about this as well because this is going to be very important. Where is it? Parallel channel. Okay, February 20. All the way back here, and this little guy right here. So you guys are aware, right, that we're riding this trend, okay? And this trend is happening every year, okay? So this respecting the zone, as well as this section, and then this section back here. So we're currently riding that, and there is a possibility that we do come down and still ride this this trend line, right? The trend line is pointing to the upside, so I don't see any more downside as far as this zone goes, but that doesn't mean we can't go down on Monday, right? There's a possibility that they will take us down early in the week before, you know, earnings, especially if they know that earnings are positive, right? They're bullish, or if they know that there's a catalyst coming out that is going to be a bullish one, and they're getting ready for that. They're getting ready for that volume that's going to be coming in. So we do have in the cycle, we have what's coming right here, okay? This section, which there's not a lot going on, so I expect a lot of yellow happening around this section. Back here, you could tell that there wasn't a catalyst or anything coming out. So it's very easy for these hedge funds institutions to be controlling the price action in the dark pools. That's why things look very identical down here. Here, however, things are looking like they're going to play inverse, because we did start tracking inverse already. So it's easier, right? It's easier for that to be the case, especially if they do bring the price up on earnings, man. So it's going to be a volatile week, in my opinion, still with the whole Russia thing as well. The futures are obviously red right now. We're just going to have to see what happens, man. But if we do get a reversal, a V reversal on the SPY, NASDAQ, all the other indices, then it's likely that we do get a little dip, and then we just bounce right back. Do like a little, something like this. Open, red, and then go. Chris, what's up, man? Hey, just chilling with the squad, man, with you guys. Chesco. Yeah, man, yeah, had to do it. Had to do the cut, man, for sure. Do we have a projector pattern forming? We don't. We don't have a projector pattern forming yet. I think for a projector pattern to be likely, we do need to cross multiple resistance and support levels. So we need to establish support here at the $20 level first, and I think we also need to establish support up here at the 35. That's what I'm looking like for a projector. It's very important that we do establish these levels, because I mean, back here you can tell, man, the projector pattern, it crossed 2, okay, on the micro. So obviously going above the $8 level, right, and then going above the $12 level before establishing support, and then going up, right? So here I think for us that level would be around this $35 level, and then that projector pattern will settle before coming back up. It's very likely we will see a projector pattern on the next run. It's very, very likely, in my opinion. Tickles, how you doing, man? Can you show, GR, can you show that inverse on the end there and what it would look like? Inverse. You might have asked a little bit earlier when I had the other chart up, huh? This one? Yeah. Yeah, I can show you that. And I was going to talk about this in a little bit, guys, when we get a little bit more in the chat. I will talk about this that I have set up here, because it's very, very important. I was going to make it into a video, but I said, you know what, fuck it. We'll just, we'll do it live, man. We'll do it live. So many charts. Okay, so many charts. These two levels to make ultimately that cup and handle that we're looking at. Okay, so once we break out of this zone, okay, depending on how earnings go, right, there's I don't know, something like this can happen where we come down and just kind of, you know, start creating these like more volatile spikes to the upside, because that's how AMC is. This one might not be a steady run-up. I did think that we were going to have a more steady run-up, but it's still going to look like a cup and handle on the macro if we do climb up and we play this portion out inverse. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's quick, you know, like this, whatever, man. It's still going to be that in the end. But if we play out a slow and steady ride, then it really all depends, guys. If things do get prolonged a little bit longer, if we don't go up, man, if we don't go up in April, like April-ish time, with options and with everything else, and the way the cycle is tracked, it's very likely that things do get pushed to August for the next, basically the next available slot in which they would repeat this process and repeat this on a technical setup. August time would be the closest thing to a run up if things were playing out the same way, using the same tactics that they do to bring the price up and then short it back down, or ultimately to bring that squeeze that we want, right? So it all comes down, guys, to what's going to happen in the near future. This is going to be very, very important for AMC for the next couple of days, for sure. Okay, let's see. Unknown, do I see a run-up heading onto earnings? I personally would like to see a run-up. I see it being a likely scenario. There's a lot of things that point to the upside for the next couple of days. The only way, man, I could see us coming down heavy is if we have like really bad earnings and they use that against, right, the narrative, right? Because if we have bad earnings, it would make sense for them to be able to short the stock. But every time, the past couple of earnings, we've had good earnings and they've still brought the price down. So this is one of those where, to me, if we have good earnings, I think we're gonna go up. But if we have bad earnings, I think they would take us down. Again, it's all a like reverse psychology game, and people think I've been on the Weeble comments, man. I've been on Reddit. I've been on, like, people think, they really do think that they are going to short the price down on this earnings, okay? And that has me thinking that if many people believe that, right, then some people are going to miss out if we have really good earnings, because they might use that to reverse psychology and then bring the price up. If there is a trend, right, a historical trend of them bringing the price down on good earnings, it's likely that those loyal AMC holders and AMC, ape community and stuff like that, it's very likely that a lot of them are going to believe that, right, that things are going to come down. So it's just very, very important to stay skeptical on that, guys, and be careful. If you're going to do anything else with, not just with stocks, but also options are very risky in that too. So it's very important to be careful with that. Okay, let's see. Patty Mac, what's up, man? If you're in a cash account, should you switch to a limit? It depends what your overall goal is, man. Cash accounts, you don't have as much leverage. And it depends what you want to do as well, because many brokers, they have different kinds of rules as far as what you can do with a cash account. For example, like you can't, I don't know, like what your ultimate goal is, but a cash account is very different in, Robinhood compared to like TD Ameritrade, You can do a lot more on TD Ameritrade than you can Robinhood. So it really depends your overall goal. Robinhood obviously is one of those that I personally use TD Ameritrade. There's Robinhood and Weeble. I don't really like those, but there's it's definitely going to be like easier to use, an account on there if you're trying to do more of like simple trading and stuff. But I like to do a little bit more complex stuff on TD Ameritrade. I think it's a good setup. I like it, and that's what I use for stuff like that. But depends, man. Depends on your question. Philip, what is a projector pattern? A projector pattern is found before every run-up that we've had. Okay, so let's go back here to Amy. Actually, this is perfect. Okay, this is just a little setup I'm playing around with. Okay, nothing crazy here, but projector pattern is right here, man. Okay, this is a projector pattern. It's basically what sets up to be this next leg up, run up, squeeze ultimately. And we find it every single run up. Okay, there's one right here. Okay, that's a projector pattern right there. So what it does is it'll come up, right? It'll chill, come up. It'll check the algorithm for basically volume requirements. If they exceed like threshold, like if it exceeds like the institutional's threshold on like their margin requirements and like stuff like that, it'll check the algorithm and basically set them up for what's to come, right? So if, you know, when they come down here, they're able to set up on options, on just buying stock, anything like that, to be set up and ready to go, so they can short it at their, you know, at a favorable spot for what the institutions have done in the past. For AMC back here, they did Fibonacci levels. Okay, this was a Fibonacci level retracement in which they hit and then they shorted. So they're able to, man, they're able to do a lot of crap. Okay, they're able to create these premiums, right, at really options that are really out of the money that retail is going to buy, because that's what's attractive to retail. Retail likes cheap contracts that are out of the money. They rack up the premiums, okay, as the volatility increases, they rack up premiums, and then they short the price down and keep it at a very neutral level so that everything gets expired out of the money, and then they keep those premiums. And that's how they hedge their positions on the way down. So projector patterns are found, again, before every run-up, and they check that. They check it, set it up. That's just my theory. That's my theory, because it happens every single run-up. Every single run-up. Okay. Nana 8, we are going to have a great earnings. They've been doing that till their stocks hold for big money. Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope so. That not only like good earnings, but I hope that the call, the aftermarket call, I know that that's going to be something that everybody's going to be looking at. I'll be going live for that, by the way. Like when we do earnings, I'll be live doing the earnings call so that we can chill it out here and see what Adam Aaron has to say. And I'm excited for that. I think that's the one thing that I'm really looking forward to, because I think like earnings, it's really like a hit or miss for Amy. And like even if things don't play out greatly, or like if the estimate is just barely hits it over or barely hits it under, I think the earnings call is what's going to be either a bullish or a bearish thing for AMC and what these institutions have planned, right? Nana Ape has a TD cash account. Yeah, cash accounts are great. They're less risky, right? Because if you're using margin and stuff like that, it can be a little bit risky, right? If you're selling, for example, selling calls, that's very risky on margin. I would not recommend that. Not financial advice, but that is very risky. Okay, let's see. Mr. Ray, unique confirmation bias on. I read something that said they're all mistaken, that the AMC stayed in the $16 to $20 range for so long because shorts were covering. It says they're almost done, and it's headed under $10 soon. No, because think about how illegal it would be to like the data that we're getting is showing the complete opposite, especially every like Ortex data and other data sites. They're showing, like, everything that they're showing points to a like what we believe are synthetic shares and even like synthetic options too, but with not only with the data that we have, but with the way the stock is moving. Because here in this channel, the whole message here with the channel is that things are happening on a cyclical level, and I don't believe that this is likely to occur with a stock that's not manipulated. I think that cycles do happen with other stocks and indices, but not the same way as they do with manipulated stocks, because these guys have more these guys have an agenda for sure, because things have to be met according to these dates. If they're not, then it's really easy for the stock to be moving up or down, right? So it's very important that they keep the price very, very close together on what their agenda is, you know, at the end of the day. So, yeah, man, I don't see that being a thing, to be honest with you. Scott, what's up, man? How is it? Dude. It is what it is, man. Harry Barrett, yo. So many catalysts in the air, feeling a nice run up. I'm feeling that too, and I was talking about this earlier too on Twitter. I posted a monthly chart of AMC, if I could find it. Let's go on this. No, let's go on. Oh my God, so many charts. I'm sorry. Let's go on the daily, and then let's just take everything out here for a second. Okay, and then we'll take the cycle out too. And the parallel channel. Okay, let's go on the weekly. The weekly, okay. Take the moving average out and bring some candles. Some lovely candles. Okay, no, it's the monthly. What am I doing? Monthly. This is the monthly chart of AMC, okay? Look at how many red candles we've had, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 red candles. Not only that, but we've had technically 9 red candles, because it has not exceeded, right, this price of 77 for 9 months. So it's just pressure to the downside for 9 months. So when are the tables going to reverse, right? Like, when are we going to start going up? This candle right here is a very bullish candle, especially it going into tomorrow. Depending on how this closes, because tomorrow's the last day, I'm not sure where they want, because monthlies are very important. It's very important that if you're in between how a candle has to look towards the end of the month as an institution, things might get a little bit volatile. So tomorrow might be interesting. I don't know what their goal is as far as this candle, because right now it's bullish. This candle is a bullish candle. It's a bearish engulfing candle, I believe that's what it is, or bullish, because now it's basically resting, creating this sort of like L, and typically with these, like you have a heavy push, kind of like what happened back here. Okay, you have your little flag, and then it just shot up, right? So what I'm thinking is, if we're looking to go up, you know, at the end of March, then if we close in above this like $30 area and we make a, you know, a little green candle like right here, whoa, something like that. Why does it look like that, bro? Okay, let's do a little rectangle. There we go. And we'll make that green. Okay, if we do have like a little green candle, and then the one after that might obviously be larger if we do get that run up. So I don't know about you guys, but that looks pretty like good to me. On the monthly, that looks pretty good to me. And that's the whole thing here. I believe that if we start coming up, it's very likely that they will bring us to that $30 level by the end of March, if things are playing out the way I see it, the way it's been tracking. And then once we have the setup ready to go, it's easier to, you know, like this is a reversal right here, because we're crossing previous resistance, right? So right here, it's very bullish for it to just start coming up. Now, like, it really all depends, guys, because like once we cross this area, it starts to get dangerous for the institutions. It starts to get dangerous to keep it right at this price, just stagnant. That's why I think their agenda is like bring it up here, little projector pattern, and then just shoot this thing up. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. All right. Yo, if you guys like the stream, make sure you drop a like, man. Bring some more peeps in here. Chill it out with Amy. I appreciate you guys. Helps the algorithm, you already know. You already know how algorithms work. Okay. AP. Yeah, man. What kind of patterns do you do? Ask away. AP. What findings? Yeah, go on the Discord, man. On the Discord, in the link below, I do have just it's a very, very small chat on purpose. If you just go on there and post your stuff, man, I'll look at it. Okay, Lots G. Bro, what about ripping the next few weeks into 3/18? Huge monthly expiration. Yeah, that's what we're looking at, man. So that's a very important date. Here, I'm gonna pull up the regression trend here that I had here a couple weeks ago. So I talked about this on a previous video. Okay, this is a regression trend that we've been tracking, and it's following a 3-month cycle based off of the 2-month cycle, right? They go hand in hand with each other, except with this, things are playing out a little bit differently in the way that these institutions are covering and shorting shares. So this right here is that expiration date that you're talking about. These are monthly expiration dates. So here we have March 18th. Here we had what happened back in December, right? And then this is not a quadruple witching one though. Quadruple witching would have been back here in June. Then we have December, and then we have March. Yeah. So okay, yeah, so back to my point. If things start playing out in the sequence that they are, okay, so I'm gonna take this bar pattern, bring it right down here. So this is blue to blue, okay? And then this would be blue to blue, right? So right now what's happening is we're actually tracking this portion right here identical to what's happening back here. And it's the same that's happening back here, okay? This whole thing. So now the problem here is that this is actually tracking inverse, right? So it looks like that. And this right here, and I was gonna talk about this on the on what I started talking about before we right as we got on this stream. This is on earnings. So this zone right here where there's a lot of volume on the 24th of August. Okay, you guys remember that. Huge. It comes up and it lines up with earnings. And that's why I'm thinking, man, like I'm waiting for it, but the tables can turn very quickly right around this and the algorithm could switch to the upside. If that is the case, okay, then we would have something like that play out. It would be a huge volatility, you know, going from, I don't know, maybe like 17 all the way to 27, okay, like $10 straight up, and then just sort of creating this larger cup, okay, going into March, okay. And that is a possibility for sure, because yeah, same thing happened back here, okay? This was a quadruple witching date back here in March. What did they do? They brought the price up, okay? So there might be a similar scenario, except this one might set up for a potential run-up, okay? This one didn't. This one, they brought it up, and then they brought it back down. And things don't have to repeat the same way that they did in the past, guys, but it's just showing you that it's possible, okay? Because back here, they did the same thing, okay? We're talking, here, let's do this. Let's bring this whole thing, 3, and then we'll do February, right here. We'll do the 26th, because that would be considered Monday, right? And you have something like that happen. It's very similar in the way that it goes up, right? And not only do we have this setup here, right, that cup and handle, but this also makes sense with the current cycle that we're tracking. It's just inverse. It's going up. So we'll flip this guy, see? And then that's what it would be instead. Everything is just playing out inverse. Okay, there we go. This part right here, obviously. The rest is playing out identical in the way that it tracks down. XX, thank you, man. It's a brilliant cycle you have displayed there. I appreciate that, man. The 62-day cycle, man. Yeah, it goes hand in hand with this whole regression trend here, the 3-month regression trend. It works a little bit differently, but I'm gonna pull it up anyways to show you. Okay, this is just a different setup, and this goes hand in hand with the blue pattern. Okay, the blue pattern is the most important pattern in the cycle. Okay, I'm gonna take away this for a second, and I'm gonna take away the regression trend as well, so we can see everything more clear. Okay, so this is what the blue pattern tracked on the last cycle, right? We actually tracked this pattern. This blue pattern is found back here. Okay, this is August time, and we're currently nearing this zone. So right now we're right here. Okay, consider to be right here in the cycle. See back here, we're right here. Okay, and we're playing things out inverse, right? So it's like we're coming into it. Now this entire pattern is actually flipped. Okay, I clone it and just flip it. You see that? See how perfect it is? It's the same pattern to a T, and it's just flipped. It's just flipped. So we're back here. We're currently tracking this, and that's why I'm very, very curious what they're gonna do for earnings, because earnings is right on that mark, right up here. It's just the entire pattern is playing out inverse. Whoops. 3 to 3. Okay, 3. Right here. March 2nd. You see that? March 2nd time. So, yeah, this is pointing to the downside. Doesn't mean that we're going to come down. It's just, remember, this portion right here, we are tracking inverse. We're tracking inverse. And that is not something we've done in the past. We always track identical. So this is why I'm bullish, man, because like things are actually turning around. The algorithm is choosing inverse. It's not choosing identical. So it's very likely that that we do get that turnaround and we get that new setup. But again, guys, that doesn't have to be the case. If we do see a massive short attack, it'll be because of this this 3-month cycle that we got going on here. This 3-month long, short, right? So I don't know, man. It's something we're gonna have to keep an eye out for sure. But it's right now things are looking more positive than not. All right, let's see. Keith, oh, no, man. So I left on Friday at 2 o'clock, I believe. So I always take little breaks, man, in between because I have to walk my dog. So that's why I left you all. but I'm here now, man. I'm here now, and I'll be on tomorrow for sure. I'm streaming tomorrow. I think it's a big day. It's a big day, and I'm still gonna do that earnings call, man, on Tuesday after hours for sure. Lots G. Wait. Rhode Island. Is there any significance to the little red hammer candle on the daily? 225 on the daily. Let's see. Pull it up here. Nope. So with AMC, man, just in like this to me is not like a bullish candle. I think these are used in different occasions. I think you have to have a more of a trend going on to the upside. One candle is not confirmation for upside. It's just one green candle followed by a bunch of red candles. So this to me is not like a bullish turn up. Like you would have to have something like this kind of, you know, where you go green, a little bit of red, and then you get that spike, right? So it really depends, guys. It depends on what they're gonna try and do more on the monthly than anything. That's the one I'm looking at the most right now, is the monthly look on AMC, because that's the one that I'm not sure what they want to do, man, with that candle. If they want to keep it red or turn it green. If they turn it green, then definitely we're gonna see some upside tomorrow if they want to turn it green, but I don't see that happening right away. I think we're going to be stagnating for the next couple of days going into earnings, and then earnings is going to be that call for sure. All right, let's see. Lots G is asking, could it just bust through the channel this week if it plays out inverse? Anything's possible for sure, but I happen to believe, man, that for AMC to go up like that, we definitely need some sort of establishing that support and resistance along the way, because we are at these levels, right? This setup is completely different. Even though it's similar in price action, it's completely different from the setup back here. This was a bullish setup. And right now we're not on that bullish setup. So this is it's a flag. Okay. And then the projector pattern that got us up. That's one setup right there, man. Right now things are on the macro. They're not bullish, right? So we need to make our way up here before anything. We need to be at this level before anything. And that's why we have that scenario, right? That cup and handle that would look like this. Okay. And then once we get up here and we pass that $30 range, it's going to be easier to chill here for a little bit before going up. It's a lot easier for them to actually bring the price up. And it's a lot more convenient for the institutions lending out the shares to do something like that. Rarely will you see a stock just shoot up in a straight line. And typically with stocks that do that, they don't have an option chain. They're very volatile. Option chains drive the price, especially with AMC, because that's their leverage right there, man. If there was not an option chain, we would have disclosed a long time ago. If there was this big movement on AMC without an option chain, this thing would have skyrocketed, bro, months ago. And I mean, you see this happen, man. For example, DWAC is one of those. It didn't have an option chain in the beginning, okay? They later when the price started to come down, which is a strategy that these institutions do every single time. They did it with SOS, they did it with DWAC, they've done it with many other stocks, where they bring up the price and then they open it up like when it's already down, and then they just keep shorting the stock to make more money along the way. So it's really easy to do that with a stock that doesn't have options, but AMC has options. And that is what they're using. That's why it's very important that we look at the cycle, because that's what sets a regular stock with no options apart from one that does have it, right? That there's expiration dates, so things become a cycle, right? Because you have to hedge your positions and keep it at a certain price by that expiration date, or else you're screwed. Let's see. What breed of dog? I have a Shih Tzu. A Shih Tzu Nola. She's tiny. She's so sweet. She's never like, man, this girl is super sweet. I love her so much. My God. She's adorable. If I had her here with me, I would show her, but she's not here right now. Oh, what's my price target if earnings cause a catalyst? So let's just say we have really good earnings and Adam Aaron decides to release not only like good earnings, right, but on that call he decides to say something, right, something that's very bullish. I don't know, some crypto news or something like that, right? That's what they're looking for. I've said this before, there's very smaller catalysts that come in the way of AMC's price action that typically will always play to the downside. Like if there's good catalysts, guys, most of the time, like we've seen that pressure to the downside, right? This could be different. If there's really, really good news on AMC, these institutions might be ready for that and they're going to go along, right? And you're going to see a spike in price. Really depends on what happens and what he says. But in my opinion, if we trade along this range, let's say that we come back to like 16 on Monday and Tuesday, and then right on Tuesday we open up Wednesday. I would say somewhere along the like $23, $24 level to come close to this previous resistance, okay, which would ultimately become new support if we do respect it and come up. That would be the best case, the most bullish case scenario for AMC on earnings. I think it would make sense to bring it up to like 25, and that's a lot, guys. Like going from $16 to 25. I mean, just do the math, dude. Price range here from 16, 25. I mean, dude, yeah, that's almost 60% of in just one day. So I mean, this is extremely bullish. If things were to happen this way, it's extremely bullish. I would say, just to be like a little conservative, man, I would say somewhere along the 22, 23, and then this would be an extreme case, 25. Before again climbing back up, because if we're doing a cup and handle, okay, even if we have a volatile spike on earnings that does bring us to this level, it would probably do something like that before coming up here. Once you have premiums, okay, that are like stacked and they brought that volatility up and the premiums become expensive, it's in their best interest to bring the price to that because they've already set up for it. They've already got calls up here. And I'm talking the institutions that are lending out the shares, okay? I'm not talking about the short sellers. I'm talking about the institutions. They've got their own system. But the best way to put it here is that they're setting up for that so that they can bring the price up and then bring it back down again, right? Until we are set up, man, I just don't see AMC doing something like that. It's very, very unlikely that this would happen. It would bring too many eyes to those institutions in what they're doing behind the door, and that's what they're trying to avoid, right? They don't want people, they don't want the government, they don't want retail, they don't want anybody trying to figure out what's happening, right? Trying to figure out how they're manipulating and everything. Like if the stock does this, they're gonna be like, how the fuck did this happen? How is this even possible? And then they're gonna get in trouble, right? So they're trying to avoid that, and the best way to do that is to slowly set up and then say, okay, well, the technicals were set up, right? They were ready to go. So who's gonna talk shit if we were ready, man? We had a little flag pattern here and then we went up. So can't really, I mean, you can definitely say, okay, wow, like, a bunch of people bought in on the price and it went up here. But if it just goes straight up in a line, man, just like this, I mean, that would, and it squeezes right on that line, then I think they would get in trouble, man. They would get in trouble, and I think they're trying to avoid that. Let's see. Yeah, and yeah, man, back to your question here about like the rules and stuff like that that have been like implemented. I do believe that it takes a little bit of time for those to start affecting the market in general, because I think it's the same thing with Catalyst, man. Like when things come out and there's so much hype on them, it's just a way to really set somebody up to fail, right? Retail to fail. Like they want you to second guess yourself over and over and over again so that you give up on the stock eventually. So it's really about kind of ignoring those things until they actually set up and happen. It's really easy, guys, to like, and I'm telling you my experience on this, but it's really easy to lose money right here. Okay, this is the worst when it comes to AMC, depending on what you're doing. Okay, but if you're the type of person that is conservative, right, and you're waiting for that to happen, I think it's very important to do that. Once you set up for that, for going in on AMC at a comfortable spot where you know that at least that there's support being respected, I think it's better to do something like that than to just go down here when we're still trading on the zone, right? That where we don't really know if the price is going to go up or if they're going to keep shorting it down. It's really easy to get fooled by these down here, right? You go in right here and then look what they did, right? Now we're down here, bro, from $40 all the way down to 15. So it's really, really important. Dang, I just deleted that. Okay, it's really important to wait for that setup, right? Wait for that setup to come up, and then that way your risk tolerance is safer, right? It's a little bit safer. All right. Okay, so let's go back into this channel back here. Where is it? Oh my god, I have so many charts open. I'm gonna start closing them up. Let's go on AMC. There we go. Parallel channel, bring it up, and I'm gonna take away the regression trend here for a second. Okay, so it's definitely possible, guys, that we do. Okay, and I talked about this on Twitter. I was like, I believe that the bottom, okay, if we are going to start coming up here on earnings, obviously it would make sense that the bottom is in, even if they do bring us down tomorrow. And, you know, I don't see us coming down below this. I think this was a nice setup, a nice reversal. We did cross multiple, not only one, but we crossed 2 resistance levels in one day. That is extremely bullish on a technical setup. If we cross one right here and one right here, and we stayed, okay, so we created micro support, is, if we'll call it that, micro support, right? Even if we come back down here, okay, it's a possible scenario that we come back and test this level, okay, right here, before coming back up like that. That is very possible. And we see this happen over and over again. Not only, like, you know what stock is notorious for something like this, coming back down like that and then doing this reversal like this. You know what? It's not a stock, but you know what's notorious for this? The SPY. The SPY is notorious for doing stuff like this. Okay, I'll prove it to you. We'll go look at the SPY. Okay. All right, for example, you see all of these little V reversals right here, okay? This one is probably the one I'm talking about, okay? But you have these setups happen literally every other month, okay? You come back down, and then it does something like this. Now, obviously, in the short term, I'm trying to explain to you how these happen. We'll just take this, we'll copy it, so you know how the pattern is set up, and we'll paste it here, okay? So it's a setup like that, right? It's a little, it's almost like a double bottom, but it doesn't quite get there. This is almost a confirmation where it's like, all right, I want to start coming back up. So you do these very quickly, and then not only are we looking at the scenario of us coming back down here to test the zone, but we also have to look at this portion back here, because typically with double bottoms and reversals, you always have to look at basically the symmetry of that pattern. A lot of the times they do play out in symmetry, so in perfect symmetry, I guess. You can have something like this come back up and then come back down, and I don't know, let's say something like this. I think something like this would make sense. We'll flip it. Okay, so it comes back down, see? You create that little reversal before coming back up, and now you've created, right, this little cup and handle right here, like that. Now, these are going to be probably a little bit more volatile, okay, because they're not going to look the same way, but for earnings, for example, if we do something like this where they bring us down tomorrow, we come back down here, and then we slowly start coming up to set up for earnings, this one might be again, more of an ugly spike, and then they might take us down again to this range to establish support right here. In fact, I think this is a perfect scenario. It's honestly a perfect scenario for the week to come down and establish support at 20 before coming back up the weeks to come. March is normally a bullish month in the stock market. It's one of the more bullish ones. I think it's like top 3 in all months. Check me on that, but I'm pretty sure March is it's like March, and I believe either September or October are up there as well, and then some month in the summer is like bullish as well. So those are typically the most bullish, and March happens to be one of them. So just think about it, man. Also like the hikes, man, the Fed hikes that they're talking about, the rates, that wouldn't take into place until quadruple witching, which is way out here at the end of the month. So it would make sense for them to bring like mid-cap stocks, which I think AMC would fall in between small cap and mid-cap. So it would make sense for them to start rising all of these, meaning that the IWM would start coming up, because there's a lot of mid-cap stocks that they hold. And that would naturally bring the price up for AMC. So it just like nothing really points to the downside for AMC. That's why I'm like, dude, this setup looks so nice. It looks ready to go. Okay. Yeah, $24 is a big turning point, and guys, take that very lightly, because that's kind of extreme. It's going up to $24. I mean, we're talking 60%, okay, from 16. And I'm not saying that's impossible, okay, especially with AMC. They like to go up very, very quickly. I mean, you saw it back, let's see, saw it right here, right? How much should we go up in like a week, right? It's 43%. Back here, 27. Obviously, as you're climbing up, it's easier, right, for us to really go up, and the ratio is always going to look larger in height, but as you're coming down, it's easier for the percentage to be a lot higher, right, because you're dealing with smaller price. So realistically, if we're in this range, I mean, look at that, 60% right here on the projector pattern. It's like, I think that's pushing it for sure, but I'm gonna say, man, if we have good earnings and they want to go long, it's easier, okay, for the price to be sitting at a comfortable 22, 23, but like, and then keeping us at this range before coming back up, and then maybe we will get a more volatile move going into quadruple witching, right, which is on the 18th, I believe. Yes, 18th. And then right there we'll just chill for a little bit before coming back up, make the projector pattern, and then eventually go up, right? So it's just, guys, it's really hard to predict price action like that. I think it's better to predict direction and just be safe with what you're doing with AMC, and just the possibilities of the technicals that are playing out, because clearly there's technicals playing out with AMC. Like, we can't deny that the technicals are there. It's just, are they going to play it, in retail's favor, or are they going to manipulate it and play it to the downside, right? We've seen a bullish flag before, okay? A nice bullish flag that just breaks down. I mean, what the fuck? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful right here. All right, let's see. Cool as a cucumber. All right, I'll take that, man. I'll take that. Curious question, but this is the year, right? I mean, look, I would love for this to be the year, and I've talked about how it's like how the scenarios that I have laid out. All of them point to April, early April-ish time, and that's, there's scenarios on purpose because giving it the label of a prediction is just, that's asking for trouble, and I'm not trying to make any predictions on anything. I'm just giving you likely scenarios, also scenarios that play out to the downside too, man, on purpose, because it's better to be able to look at AMC from every possible perspective to make that right call in the end. And there is a likelihood, guys, if things start to play out inverse, okay, and we do come down, that things do get delayed a little bit more. And that's just, it's going to be according to the cycle and the option expiration dates. That's what I look at. That's what I've been looking at this whole time. So if they do drag this out, I don't know, let's say we come up here and we just chill and they bring us back down or whatever. It's all going to do with the technicals, man. And I think at that point, it would be really hard for AMC to come up specifically on any dates, until like basically past July. Going into August would be that zone according to this cycle and according to how they're bringing the price up and down. This would be considered a shorting stage. Okay, so let me show you this theory. I'm gonna give you guys a worst case scenario here for AMC, just so you guys can kind of understand how it works. Okay, but if we have this stage right here, right, this is basically what decides if things are going to be shorted or not. If we take this from the start, so I'm gonna take the regression trend here, from here to here. Okay, this is 3 months. Now, I'm going to leave this identical, but I'm also going to clone it, and I'm going to make the inverse one, okay? So let's say that this right here that we're currently tracking, let's say that it does come down, and they bring us down on earnings right here on March 3rd, how it's pointing to the downside. And their goal is to obviously keep the price here on this regression trend, probably at around like 10, maybe 11, and just chill right here or whatever. Well, if you look at the technicals here, okay, and then we're gonna do this too. So this entire setup here, the next blue portion would take this long. Okay, so we're gonna do blue to blue, and then blue to blue. Okay, blue to blue comes down here. So according to this, the next time we would probably have a run up would be around this area, and I believe this is August. Pretty sure it is. No, this is July. Okay, so this is July. This is July time, but personally, I like the setup itself would have to start coming up, and we would have to start coming up around this range. So I think they would use this, like, this would be terrible. This would be so bad because they would use this, okay, to basically bring us back up here, and we would chill it out, man, here for a little while on the $30 level before coming back up. So this would be like a projector pattern back here, and we wouldn't go up to like August, okay? Now that personally would be worst case scenario. I don't see a way out as a short seller, as an institution. I think they're gonna have to cover very soon, and if it doesn't happen here in the near future, on April-ish time, then I think it would probably be extended to August time, and that's just, again, having to do with the overall technicals of AMC, because if we start coming back down, it's going to be hard to create bullish technicals, because then we break out of a cup and handle, and then what else can you do on a perspective like that, right? What else can you work with? So I personally don't want that. I mean, it changes the short-term conviction on AMC, not the long-term. I'm still going to be a bullish over, like, I don't care. I really don't care. It's just, it's would be awesome if things just happened, right? If things just, like, if we just started going up, man, and I'm sure that is something that we're all looking for, but we also have to be prepared for that possibility, right? And anything could happen in the stock market, guys, and nothing is guaranteed. So it's very important that you play both sides, and you're careful. You're careful with how things are happening. Kyo Kim, what's up, man? Freeze, what's up? Yeah, man. Yeah, just went live a little bit ago, about an hour ago. Just trying to do more like Sunday live sessions. I feel like that's, especially right now. Right now, we need it. We need it for sure. Zach, thank you, man. You guys all make me zen. How about that? You all make me zen. Nana, we believe. Yeah, we do. 3 scenarios for the week are coming up on Discord in the next couple hours. Once I get off the stream, I have it set up, I have it ready to go, and I'm going to post it. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you join the Discord. I post weekly scenarios, bearish, bullish, and neutral, and that'll be coming up. All right. Pink pattern, bro. The paint corrector. Yo, when can we expect more music? I'm working on some stuff, man. I have some demos that are ready to be polished, and I'll be posting them soon for sure. I'll be posting them, man. Thanks for asking. From above, after it goes up a certain amount, wouldn't margin calls happen? Technicals algo would just go out the window. Yes, it would, but I believe that the ripple effect that we're looking for, and I've said this before, like, if we get, it all depends on what the algorithm chooses. Okay, when the projector pattern comes in, it's gonna look a little bit differently, in my opinion, in how we actually go up and squeeze. If there's another leg up, we're probably going to see a very similar setup to this projector pattern, okay? And that this would be an indicator to me that there's probably going to be a resistance point indicating an actual drop again before coming back up. That's something that we're just gonna have to wait for until it happens. But I believe that it's very important in how we see the projector pattern actually play out in the end. Okay, so if we come back up here and chill it out and then make the projector pattern before going up, it's important to understand how it looks and how it happens. If it looks very similar in the, like, where it takes about a week for this thing to settle down. It looks very particular, and it almost like the projector pattern is found in the blue pattern. It looks the same. So that's something I'm going to be looking into. I'm going to be looking if it looks the same. When it happens is going to be a very, very important as well. And then I'll be making my my sort of decision on what the goal is for this run up, because if they're going to take it down, then we have to be prepared for that. You know, we don't know if this is going to be another leg up, or if this is going to be another, or if this is going to ultimately be the squeeze, right? We don't know that. And the shorts, right? There does come a point where they can't short the price anymore. Their margin requirements don't meet that threshold, and they do get that ripple. We'll get that ripple effect that will ultimately take us all the way up, right, where we want to go. So it's gonna be a little bit hard to tell, man. That's why you have to be safe. Okay, you have to be safe on the way up. You guys have to be careful because nobody knows what they're gonna do next. And you can only make an educated guess, man, on what they're gonna do. There's a lot of brackets and numbers people talk about. I don't like to get into that because I don't think it's predictable. I think it's the only thing that is predictable is if they play this Fibonacci game like they did back here, where they brought us up to a Fibonacci level. I'm gonna have mine. My Fibonacci levels are at there's one at 260 and one at 300, and 300 would be a psychological level. So if the price starts to come up to those levels, you basically have to understand what is happening as the candles are going up and down, as things are being volatile, and understand the history of how things happened in the past and how fast and how the candles were behaving, how the time and sales are set up. I think it's really important to look at that. And TD Ameritrade has an on-demand feature that lets you do that. It lets you go back in time and see how things are playing out. So highly recommend that. If you guys have TD Ameritrade, go look at the on-demand feature and come back in time and study this like run-up, dude, because I think everybody should. I think everybody should study the run-up so that you understand the price action and be prepared for that. Because, dude, if we squeeze, things are not going to look the same. They're going to look completely different. We're going to see big candles back to back, and we're going to see prices jump very quickly too. It won't be a steady run like this. This was a very steady run. The squeeze is going to be very different. It's going to be like volatile like that, dude. It's going to be so crazy. So yeah, dude, just always have that risk tolerance, man. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, so assuming there's another gamma squeeze, you just heard that right, man. The fib levels, those would be my fib levels that I've looked at according to history. Those are the ones that I'm looking at as far as like not only that psychological level at 300, but the 260 would be an important level, man, for that, for sure. Awesome. Derek, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Desi, love your attitude. Thank you. Appreciate it. I love all you, man. You guys are all dope. Everybody in the chat, you guys all have positive vibes, and that's why we get along, man. We have that chill mindset. We're chilling out, rocking out to some good music, right? Appreciate it. Thank you, Nana Ape. Okay, so I'm just, for those of you that don't know, here I'm very like, I like to be very loyal to like AMC and what happens with AMC, just because like I understand the communities, you know, like I know, I've been there, man. I know that everybody has their play and they're holding and they're doing their thing with Amy, and I think it's only fair if I, you know, keep things very loyal to Amy, and we ask anything that has to do with AMC, I will cover. So like we've talked about Doge, we talked about the Spy, we've talked about things like that. So I don't like to stray away from that aspect of things, but we will, like, SNDL. Look, the only thing I'm gonna say is it's part of a sympathy play for sure with the whole meme movement. Okay, so all I can tell you, man, is that it's one of those stocks that like to follow on like sympathy level, but I do not think that once AMC squeezes, I don't think that any stock is going to ratio wise, I don't think it'll compare to basically the profits that AMC is looking to spring, right? We'll call it spring, because of how it's been manipulated, how the price action has steadily been in this range. Like, even though the stock is doing what it's doing right now, or it's just like trading in little cycles, it's never been a pump and dump, okay? It's never been a pump and dump. Like, this thing is steadily just chilling it out, man, okay? That's what it's doing. Pump and dumps, for example, back here, you can say this was a little pump and dump, okay? This thing went up to 25 and then it went back to 5, okay? Most stocks, man, don't behave that way. When they pump them, they dump them, and then they stay down here for a really long time. AMC didn't do that, dude. AMC pumped multiple times from this low, okay? $1.90 was the low, and then we came up to 5, and then we chilled, then we came up to 25, then we chilled, and we came up to 77, and we chilled, and now we want to go up, okay? That's what everybody wants to do. We want to go up, and we want to go up to new numbers, and yeah, dude, I'm very excited about that. I'm excited. I've been looking at this, specializing in AMC for a really long time, and I think it's only fair if we continue this journey, right? And at some point, I do want to branch out and talk about other stocks. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I definitely want to do that, and I think in the end, man, I think it's going to be better for everybody once this is all over, right? To move on to other stuff and try and crack other codes, other cycles, other stuff like that, because the market is going to behave very differently once this is all over, for sure, man. There's going to be, dude, there's going to be some crazy stuff happening once this stuff goes down, for sure. Once the squeeze goes down. Thank you. Appreciate you. Zach, no justice tonight? Not tonight, man. We'll rock it out hopefully tomorrow or this week. I hope that justice brings some good price levels to Amy, for sure. That justice. We need that justice, man. For sure. How high do I think AMC can realistically go? Again, man, so I don't really like to give out price brackets or anything like that. I just think everybody should be like cautious and have a risk tolerance, man, as far as where you want to let go of that price, right? You know, if you're at a comfortable range where, like, at least you make back what you put in, I think that's safe, right? Like, because I mean, at least you don't lose any money at that point. You make more than what you put in, and I think that's very important for people to understand. instead of, you know, doing what I did back here, man. I didn't go in till like 22 back here in January, okay? And then they shorted the price, and I was upset because I got up here, right? And that was a lesson learned for me, okay? I learned my lesson, and now I look at things a little bit differently as far as like when I'm gonna go in on the price action, what my plan is going forward. And that's something that I think is important for people to understand for sure, because in one way or another, man, this stock has definitely taught everybody here something at least valuable, is that have a good risk tolerance with how you go in on stock plays, right? And at the end, bro, that's something that I don't think anybody else will get, is that these meme traders that we are, right, at least will be kind of tough in the decisions that we make moving forward. I think that's fair. It's fair that we gain that, lesson this way, even though it sucked, right? It sucked ass, but like, dude, in the end, everything happens for a reason. Maybe that'll make us pretty tough here on the ride up, right? It'll make us pretty tough for sure. These lines are, these don't, okay, so these are stages, right? They got shorted back here on the cycle. All it is this, but I'm not focusing too much on what's happening here for this interpretation that I have going on, because I really want to focus on this pattern as it's being repeated over and over again. So all it's saying is that there's a month in between in which shorting takes place. So here we have the short attack, here we have the short attack, down here we have a short attack. And then as the tables start turning, basically the opposite will happen. But I'm still looking at this, guys. I'm still trying to understand how this works, okay? So I have a lot of different theories as to why this is happening. And I think what's basically coming in the next few days is really going to help with that. This right here is what I'm looking at. This freaking spike right here. The 24th, okay? Down here we had the same spike, and look at this freaking pressure to the downside. Not only does this line up with the cycle inverse, but it does line up with the chart. That's why it's something I'm looking into, man. And once it goes down, I'll have a better picture of what this means and how we can prepare right for that run up. Scenarios for this week, I will post them on Discord, man. If you guys are on my Discord, I post them every week there, bullish, bearish, and neutral. I work on those on a different program, so I don't have them right here with me, but if you guys go in on there, I will for sure have them for you, man, for sure. Kaiser, what's up, man? Derek Rose, of course, my guy. Anytime. Let's see what else we can look at real quick. Okay, so this is the... Where is it? Red flag, blue flag, wedge. And then we also have this arc right here, this little pattern. And this is what would be that cup, right? So we have multiple, let me bring the text back here so you guys can see. Flag, flag. We also have a wedge, okay? This is the wedge. And then here's a little cup and handle. And this is what the technical setup is, basically just breaking down the technicals of AMC and how they happen in the past. Just a better way to look at the price action and how it's happening, right? So it's pretty cool to look at things this way, because it just gives you a better like instead of just looking at just a regular chart, man, and just understanding things from like their own phase, it just I don't know, it really helps with the possibilities that are to come, right? Like back here, we talk about this setup that we had down here, this right here, right? There's the people that thought, you know, we had a little spring setup on from the Wyckofians, the LPS and the SOS, right? And this would have been the spring. We also had a inverse head and shoulder setup that didn't play out. We could have had a double bottom that didn't play out. The double bottom would have looked a little bit like this. Okay, that didn't play out. And then obviously we had the wedge that did play out, and the wedge broke out eventually. So it's good to look at all the possibilities that you can do from the setup that you're in right now. And right now, one of those is a cup and handle, but we also have the possibility of a more of a larger double bottom scenario that would look a little bit like that, which it would go hand in hand with the cup and handle too. They're basically like the same thing in this scenario. It's gonna look a little bit prettier on the macro for sure. But there's multiple scenarios you can build from depending on where you are in that stage, right? So this being a cup and handle, okay, is one possibility. But we can also like as we're breaking away from this wedge, right? Now we're working with this. This is what we're working with because we just finished a wedge. Back here, same thing. We finished a flag and then we got our little projector and then we shot up. This is very early on to make anything else of it. Right now, the only thing that makes sense to me is a double bottom or a cup and handle. It's what I can see right now. But in the future, if things start to play out a little bit differently, then we can start to see what the possibilities are moving forward. And I like to do that a lot because, again, it makes it we did it with the wedge and the wedge ended up playing out. So I want to make sure that once we get these technical setups playing out a little bit later here in the coming weeks, that we can have different possibilities, right, to be safe with the play. All right. Okay, let's see. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Matt Lags, yo. What's up, man? Okay, Joe. This guy. Okay. Nazia, good morning. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. You probably are from Europe or something, or the other part of the world. Yes, we can see a more powerful move up, but powerful is powerful, man. In this price range, powerful is, I mean, anything above 50% is insane. So if you think about it, dude, like us coming up here on earnings, it's, you know, if we're gonna be, let's say that we do come down to 16, you know, and then they take that opportunity to, you know, bring us back up to 24, that'd be 50% here on earnings. That's a lot, dude. You know, anybody that is, just think about it, how much money you would make, not only on the stock, going in on the stock, but also options. If things played out this way, that would be a lot of money. So it's a possibility for sure. We just have to wait to see what's going to happen. You just have to be, like, people that are going in on plays like this have to be very careful, because if things play out to the downside and you're not, like, you know, prepared for anything like that, then you're gonna be feeling bad in the end, right? So it's, you know, anything is possible. I like to be a little realistic here with just how things have played out in the past with Amy. I think it's fair to be cautious and then start to be a little bit bullish, right, when things actually set up. Like, I don't mind, right? Once we're up here, if we have played out this entire sequence that I've been talking about here for a little while, obviously, man, if we're up here, I'm gonna be like, dude, bro, like this is what we've been saying, like this is going to go down, right? Because like this is what we've been talking about for so long, and it's going along with the technicals, it's going along with the cycle, it's going along with the with these option dates that we have. Like it's at that point it becomes easier to be more and more bullish on the stock. But at these levels, there's not enough confirmation for me yet. We're still on the bottom here. In 9 months, we are still at the bottom, and we haven't respected any resistance and created support on that resistance, right? So that's step one. Step two is we have to cross not only one, but we have to cross multiple. We have to cross 3, and then we have to set up on the third one to be where we want to be, right? So until that happens, my conviction on how AMC is going to go up is very, very neutral right now, as far as like heavy price movements. Yeah, good point, Andre. So in the past we've talked about how flipping the chart can sometimes give you another perspective on AMC, and that's very true. So I'm gonna do that right here for you guys. So if you flip the chart, it does look, obviously looking at it from here, it looks bearish, right? Because we didn't come down to the previous, right? The previous low here. We almost did, but we didn't. So this becomes bearish, right? Because you didn't exceed the previous, what this would be previous resistance. You did not come and meet that, and you did not do it for a couple turns, right? Now, if things were a little different and we actually came back down one more time, then I would look at things a little bit differently again. And this is all going to matter according to earnings. If we do come back down here, then things are going to look a lot different. Right here, however, it's way more bullish than bearish because we didn't come down. So and this is a good way to look at things too, guys, from a different perspective, because like sometimes we're so used to, looking at things on the flip side, when it looks like this, but if you flip it, you can kind of get a different perspective, right? Like, wow, like AMC's all the way up here. I think it needs room to come down now, right? Which would mean that we come up, right? So, Alt I, man, on TradingView. I mean, but hey, dude, honestly, like, you're like, I would love to see AMC on 101 day, haha. Yeah, I mean, dude, if things play out that way, then they play out that way, right? Nobody knows what they're gonna do, right? But what we do know is that in the past, they have set us up to come up, okay? Whatever their reasoning is behind this, the way they literally set things up for us, okay? These aren't just mistakes, they happen because of the setup, okay? If things just play out and we just run, okay, then there's a reasoning behind that, and there's a lot more, okay, that was meant to happen that way, right? There's a lot more behind the door that we don't know about that made things happen that way, because if things just spike up like that, okay, out of nowhere, and we just straight line up, dude, to whatever levels, it's very likely that many hedge funds got just margin called back to back on the same day, and there is no like algorithm stopping that. There's no algorithm checking that, right? Which you see this happening with these little patterns that are playing out. So these little projector patterns. So it's very, that would be thrown out the window, right? And you defies the whole technical setup, The whole everything is just thrown out, and it doesn't matter anymore. And I'm telling you, man, this is why I think things do play out in a technical ways, because they don't want something like that to happen, or else they're going to be investigating that. And not that they haven't already been doing that, but I just think it just makes things a lot crazier on their part. I think it makes it more likely for them to get in trouble, different levels of trouble, you know, consequences. Alrighty, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna be going live tomorrow on stream. So all of you that are in here, man, make sure you guys stay updated for that. Okay, we're gonna be looking at Amy because it's very, very important. But we're gonna cut the stream here, and I appreciate all of you for joining up. And make sure you hit the link below, man, and follow on Twitter. There's TikTok now as well. I post some shorts on there. And yeah, man, thank you guys for joining up. If you guys have any other questions, throw them in on Discord and stuff. I'll be on there. I'll be posting the scenarios later today as well. So stay tuned for that, okay? Bullish, bearish, and neutral will be on there shortly, okay? Alrighty, guys. You guys have a dope rest of your Sunday. Go love your dogs, your family, and your friends, and I love you. Bye-bye.